Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend from the CTO Advisor. We're in beautiful Las Vegas. Seems like we're coming from you all the time from Vegas. Across the way is a really big conference, Chris.
Really?
Yes.
What could this conference be about?
The last time I had you on, Chris Williams of what do you want to be tagged as? You know, of like the AWS Experts Anonymous Club, or what? What's your latest title?
So the official designation is AWS Hero.
Okay.
Of that, there are subdivisions. There's AWS Machine Learning Hero, AWS Serverless Heroes. I am one of the AWS Community Heroes. That designation means that I do a lot of outreach, a lot of public education about AWS services. I do some speaking, and I run a couple of user groups.
So that's not kind of beyond what you've done in the traditional VMware community. It sounds like just an extension of what you've already always done.
Yeah, so previous to this, I had the Virtualization Technology User Group, VTUG, that Chris and Don started. And then there's also the vBrownback stuff that I help with. That started with VMware, but then eventually started to move and segue over into AWS services and programmatic stuff like Python and things like that. And as you said, it was a natural evolution. I started learning AWS and falling in love with it about 5 years ago. And as a result of that, I was like, oh, well, let's go out into the community and see who's involved, who can start a user group or anything. Turns out there wasn't a lot of people out there, so I threw my hat in the ring. And we started the AWS Portsmouth user group. We did a New England Community Day event. And it just generated a lot of interest, and a lot of people were super excited about AWS, as they should be, hence the conference. And it kind of just snowballed into this bigger thing. And as a result of that, the people within AWS nominated me to be an AWS Community Hero. And what that means is we are basically the spokespeople, the figureheads for community outreach and AWS service knowledge share and learning. And it's something that we love to do anyway, so it's kind of like a hand-in-glove fit. And now, this week we're going to do a couple of meet and greets, and then go back and continue doing what we've been doing: the community days, the user groups, the online webinars, and things of that nature.
So with that, I want you to also get in a plug for what you've done related to this, because kind of with AWS and Python go kind of together like peanut butter and jelly.
They absolutely do.
And you spent what seems like months doing a Python course over on the vBrownback channel.
Yeah, so it actually started January 17th, and I was looking at the schedule and I realized that I'd been doing Python classes for 1 year. One class a week, almost for an entire year, and I was like, wow, that went a lot. It went on a lot longer than I thought, because we had so many speakers that wanted to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Originally, what my intention was I wanted to learn about Python. I'm not a developer.
Right.
I wanted to sink my teeth into it and learn more about it, because Python and AWS do go hand in hand. You can use that language and the libraries, Bodo 3 and others, to manipulate AWS and modify it and make changes. And I thought that was a very powerful tool to programmatically use. It's called infrastructure as code, IAC, to manipulate your environment using code. So I figured, okay, well, I'll learn a little bit of programming. And that turned into a little bit more of programming, and a little bit more. And eventually it turned into an entire year of Python for DevOps, learning how to use Python to manipulate not just AWS, but a vast array of things, because it can touch everything. And it really blew up a lot bigger than I thought it was. But it turned out fantastic. I learned so much. I got a lot of people interested, a lot of people involved in it, and we all learned from each other.
So good on you. It's on my tickle list to go back and watch all of them. Maybe one of the things I do over the break, we're going to go, all of them have to have this 60,000 person conference.
Right.
We're going to enter hopefully a slow period. Now I'll go back and absorb some of that, because
a lot of video to watch.
So at the same time, because I'm picking up Kubernetes at the same time. Last week before, Blurs was KubeCon. Week before last was KubeCon. my first KubeCon, and I liken KubeCon or the Kubernetes community a little bit because it has that programming background, that builder background to AWS. AWS is much far along in kind of the enterprise journey. You're a practitioner, you're in customer sites, you're building stuff, you're doing like the hard work of moving hybrid moving from on-prem to AWS or the hybrid between the two.
Right.
What are you most excited about, either from AWS or about the show this week?
Well, so
that you can disclose.
all of that's yes. Well, so there is that too.
Right.
I am under a couple of NDAs. There is so selfishly, the thing that I'm most excited about is Deep Racer Evo.
Really?
The next generation of the Deep Racer. So I managed to acquire a Deep Racer recently, and I'm very excited to get back to the house and learn because Python and AI and machine learning also go hand in hand.
Go hand in hand, right?
So I'm going to leverage that knowledge to start now playing with my new Deep Racer, and now the Evos are coming out, which have a lot more enhancements, and so I'm jazzed about that. Every reInvent is a landslide of new announcements.
At least 50 new features going to be announced tomorrow.
We just had 200 announcements last week in preparation for I don't know how many we're going to have this week. It's going to, I can't write fast enough to keep track of all of the things that are happening. There's a lot of things happening. First and foremost, I'm excited to learn, about what kind of changes are going to happen because I'm now kind of getting into more of the programmatic side in the DevOps space, like the CI/CD space, what's happening with code commit and code pipeline, some of the new changes that are happening there, the Deep Racer Evo, the hardware and changes from that perspective, and the I don't want to call them the vanilla offerings, but the meat and potatoes offerings of EC2 instances and RDS and interregional communication and transport at the network layer. What changes are going to be happening on those sides? I think that from the meat and potato side, that's what I'm going to be interested in. From the niche things that Chris finds fascinating, it's going to be the machine learning and the Deep Racer stuff.
So I would love to get you on at a future point as I'm coming out of KubeCon and you just triggered a bunch of stuff from KubeCon. One of the interesting things that I learned at KubeCon is that a lot of people are implementing Kubernetes to get CI/CD, DevOps types of hygiene into the IT operations.
Yes.
But this is something that's been happening in AWS, Azure, and the clouds for the past 5 years.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to just get your perspective as someone who's just been in the trenches for the past 5 years. What works, what doesn't work, where there needs to be improvement, etc. But until then, where can people find you online?
So if you Google, I actually did this the other day and I didn't realize this. If you Google Mistwire, Mistwire, that's my Twitter handle. It's also the first 2 pages of Google results.
Nice.
Every article, every video that I've created, every blog, every post, first 2 pages. So if you Google Mistwire, you will hit me.
I hope there's some cute pictures of you and your family.
Mistwire as a baby. Oh.
Well, if you want to find out more about the CTO Advisor, you can find us on the web, thectoadvisor.com. You can find me at CTO Advisor. I promise if you Google at CTO Advisor, you'll find mostly me, maybe the first half page.
Awesome.
Until then, talk to you next CTO Dose.